Well, that's where we're going to be taking our conversation from this morning on the program. A very worrisome trend, and we're hoping to see the end of it. And the Minister of Agriculture is quite passionate. And so, yes, we should begin to see something being done. And of course, we're going to be talking about the fact that he's actually asked for stiffer penalties, punitive measures to be meted out to any of such importers who is found with such products in their cold room. Well, I'm being joined on the program by the chairman, Agricultural Group of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Wale Oyekoya. Mr. Oyekoya, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us. That's a very, I just kept looking at your expression, and it's something. It's not something to celebrate. It's very, very, very scary. It's a very scary thought. The fact that we have so many diseases out there, not to mention different kinds of cancer, and then we're having the most basic protein that a lot of people eat, fish. Like that.
Did you say protein? There's no protein in this one. First of all, you have to give credit to the federal government, especially the Minister for Agri, for coming up boldly. This practice has been going on for so long. I remember one time I was one of the people that went to, I'm not going to mention names, but sometimes we need to throw the names so that we know the people killing Nigerians. This is criminal. This is what they cannot do in their own country. They have turned Nigeria to be a dumping ground. I've said it over and over and over, but thank God that we are having a visionary leader, a visionary minister that can see what the masses are suffering. This is not new. And most of these frozen fish business are being taken off by the foreigner. You will never find a single indigenous, a single Nigerians in this business because to me, they are like Sherlock. They are like mafia. They are so powerful that they find their ways to the market anytime they are being close. I hope this momentum is going to be continued by the minister because this is killing our own people. And this is what we've been talking about. It's not only the fish, even the poultry products. I remember one time when the Nigeria Customs Service, they called me, they have to load poultry products into the tanker of oil. And you can imagine what will happen to the cold chain. Definitely when you transport all these poultry products from Cotonou down here, sometimes it takes 3 days. Why they were trying to elude the custom? But this one is very alarming and it has been going on, and we thank God that definitely somebody is picking up. It's a very bold initiative.
Let's still even go back to the customs issue. Are they doing enough in terms of trying to arrest these products before they get into the market? Because, I mean, how can somebody declare what the minister said, the person, he actually underdeclared the amount, the tons of fish that he actually brought in. So who monitored it? Who checked off on the list of the products that had actually come in?
I don't know what the NAFDAC are doing. I don't know what the Nigerian Customs Service are doing. To me, for the Minister for Agri to go further in this thing is a very bold step. Because these are the job of the Nigerian Customs Service and NAFDAC. Where were they? How did this thing get into the market? And you have to remember that the reason that most of these fish get rotten in their cold room, because they are trying to change Nigerians by the way of the quota that were given by the federal government, that we are going to give them quota that the way they are dumping fish into this country is too much. You know what they did in October? They started hoarding this fish. Then the market reacted. The price went higher. Who suffered? The masses. So they stored the fish. They couldn't sell it because of the reaction of the markets. So that is why some of these fish get rotting into their cold room.
Okay, now I'm going to take you up on that, Mr. Oyekoya. You are the chairman of the Agricultural Group of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And among other things, apart from fish, you do poultry as well.
Yes.
Now, could you just tell me, on an average, what is the capacity of our domestic fish production?
Our capacity is very low. It's about 700 metric tons, and we consume over 20 millions.
Why is our capacity low? Because if the reason, I'm asking this question, because the only reason why we should continue to be dependent on fish that is imported is because we can't produce it. Definitely. So why can't we produce the amount of fish that we need?
It's because the encouragement has not been there for the local productions. The fund is not there. And I pity the Minister for Agri because he's doing a whole lot in order to make sure that the agricultural sector is being sustained in this country. But there's not much you can do if the fund is not there, because the banking system we have today is not for progress, it's not for progressive businesses in this country, because most of the farmers, they couldn't even afford to even create the pond talk less of rearing. And most of these fish, definitely they are marine fish, like the mackerel, the croaker, the herrings. They are from the marine waters. So our water need to be sanitized. They need to be properly be sure that, because most of our waters have been contaminated by oil, because nothing is being done to clear some of this rubbish in our water, and that is why we can't get good fish from our own shore. So that is why the foreigners are taking advantage of us. There's not enough for them to come and do business, but they need to be regulated, especially there are some top businesses which they already make mention, like the Stallion. Let me say, these people have taken over the country to their, as if they own this country. Sometimes, you know what even they do? They sell in wholesales. At the same time, they will come and create their own cold room in the market, like in K2 Oyigbo. They will still be competing with the people that they are selling this fish to in the wholesale. So definitely the people are not making money.
Well, you said something about regulation now.
Yes.
Who is supposed to be championing this regulation? Because, I mean, we have organized private sector.
Yes.
They should be the one championing this thing. If the regulator doesn't get up and do something, you should call the attention of the regulator. I mean, that's how it works. Everybody has a duty to ensure that we protect ourselves from charlatans, like you call them.
Harriet, trust me, like the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry have been trying up. You know, we are just a public advocates. You know, we can only advocate. Like this poultry products I was talking about, I remember how many times I've been to the Nigerian Customs Service at Ikeja, where they will take some of these products because they were being smuggled into the country. It's a banned product. How did it get into the country? So most of the people that are supposed to enforce this regulation are getting fat from Nigerians. I'm very sorry to say that Nigerian Customs Service are not even doing their job, because anytime that a policy come out, they are the one that is at the receiving end. Look at all these rights we are talking about. They ban it, they increase the tariff by 110%. How did it get into the country? Sometimes you see a trailer load coming from our borders.
Well, Mr. Oyekoya, as much as I know you want to give the Nigeria Customs Service plenty of knocks, let's also give them a little bit of kudos. They've also tried as best as they can, even though some people who feel that they're smarter than them manage to pass through. But let's go back to the issue of funding. Every sector, and I know I say this almost every day on this program, has a peculiar challenge of accessing funds.
Yes.
Now, a lot of people feel that they have to go to the banks to get these funds.
Definitely.
Why can't they look at other means? For instance, private equity investment or any other means apart from the banks. Or speaking to private investors who want to invest their money in a viable business, and fish production is a very viable business, you must admit that. For people to be coming in to dump their products here in Nigeria, it's a very viable business. So why don't they look at all those other options? It
is true that what you have said, but who are the private sector that are ready to go into it when the condition that the banks will give to you can never meet up with the demands? Even with the private organizing committee you are talking about, they don't want to put their money where they will not make money. Because you see these people, to be very honest with you, they are even taking some risk. You know why some of these fish get rotten in their cold room? Power is the main thing. And some of the power they bring sometimes will blow all your cold room. I'm a victim to this thing. There was a time that one of my cold room that worth about 2 million naira just got bombed because of the power sector. So sometimes I don't blame these people, but they are taking advantage of the system that is rotten, that we need to be taken care of. Yes, there are so many people that wanted to invest in these fish businesses, but with the collateral they ask you to go and bring, how many farmers will be able to come up with this collateral in the posh areas? That is the issue. But the Nigerian government need to come up with a system that maybe like a microfinance or Bank of Agriculture that are listing. It's enough of all this talking about agriculture. It needs to be supported by funding. And without funding, we cannot move forward. With all this agriculture transformation agenda, which our minister really have a passion for it, it's his baby. It's Dr. Adesina's baby, this agriculture transformation agenda. But without funding, it's going to have a whole lot of challenges and problems. And this is the kind of problem that we'll be having. Because some of these big campaigns will be taking advantage of the system. Do they have funds to even do the agriculture in Nigeria? We don't have it. All this excessive crude oil that we are talking about, all this subsidy that is going to some people's hand, if it is ordinary 10%, like this $20 billion that is missing, if it's only $1 billion that is set aside for the agri-sector, trust me, agri-sector will not be the way we are today. But we need to move from the just talking, and move to the action and funding.
Exactly.
sector.
So what is LCCI doing to go beyond just talking and match words with action?
Well, there was a time we wrote a letter to the Senate committee, the chairman committee for the Senate on the agriculture. And they are reviewing it and said, we wrote the letter today that, listen, like all this budget coming out, these appropriation bills, the amount they set aside for the agriculture is just too low, 1.2%. If 1.2% is given out of all this budget for the agriculture sector, and you have to remember that there's a recurrent expenditure from this money, so nothing is coming to the agri sector. So our lawmakers really need to sit down and put aside their selfish interest. That do we need to really sustain agriculture in this country? How are we funding them? And another thing I need to say, that you cannot keep on buying what we are not producing. You know who suffers? It's you and me, the masses, that suffers, because most of these fish we are talking about, I'm very sorry, as I said, I gave credit to the minister, but we need to encourage the local farmers if we are really going to tackle this problem.
Yeah, but you see, recently I had a conversation with the Minister of Agriculture, and he actually said that most of the credit that is coming into the agricultural sector is actually coming to fish farmers and small and medium enterprise farmers as well. So it's kind of worrisome. It seems as if do they even know where they should be going to get this funds? Because you've mentioned it so many times in this conversation already that it's funds. And if the minister says that most of the credit is coming to his sector, then why are the farmers, the fish farmers, not availing themselves to tap into this?
I will advise the minister on one thing. And the one thing is that he keep on concentrating in the north. And the problem in the north is very peculiar, that everybody knows about 17 states in the north is a no-go area. And this is why they are pumping most of the agri funds. And if they can move a little bit further to the southwest, to the southeast, and to some area where it is not volatile for violence, trust me, we get there, because nobody wants to go to the north right now, go and do the farming. You can see how all the Fulanis and the herdsmen and the farmers, how they were clashing over there. So why can't you just try to move downward a little bit and make sure that most of this funds is not really going to the north? As I said, I gave him credit, but at the same time, you need to spread it to the six geopolitical zones so that all the zones will be able to benefit from these funds coming to the agriculture. I think that's all. It needs to be done, and without the funding, trust me, this kind of problem will keep on arriving. I remember one time that they are talking about value chain for the poultry products and all these fish businesses. Not many farmers. Most farmers are folding up. I keep on saying it every day. The statistics of farmers closing today is very alarming. And we have not been able to take agri as a business. We still taking it as a hobby, and they believe that it's just the old people that do it. And you have to remember that 80% of the farmers you have in this country, they're from rural areas. They are from rural, especially women. Are you sure,
Mr. Oyekoya? Because you see, these days we have the agripreneurs, and they're coming out very strong. That's the young people, and they're coming out very strong. They're taking agriculture now not as a hobby, as you've just said, but as a business, and they're driving it as a business. So we have agribusiness, not even agriculture anymore.
Well, time will tell. The only way I can agree with you is when you can go to the market and buy your foodstuff in a very cheap price. That is when we know that it's working. It's not just coming on the TV talking that we are doing this, we are doing that, until everybody could be able to use 10,000 naira and feed a family of about 10 people. That's when I know that it's working. But for now, we are just speculating, and we need to go beyond speculations.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Wale Oyekoya, for coming on the program this morning. I've been speaking with Mr. Wale Oyekoya. He's the chairman, agricultural group of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and we've been looking at issues and challenges surrounding fish importation. But we'll take a quick break now, and when we come back, turn our focus to the private equities market. Please join us again.